Now, from the downtown of Northwest Arkansas, in Uptown Rogers, with weather from Bentonville to Fayetteville, Fort Smith, and beyond, here's Oz weather meteorologist, Garrett Lewis.
It is July 7th, coming across 2 in the afternoon, and we have some showers and storms that are tracking into the area. These are expected to weaken with time as they move east, and you can already start seeing some of that weakening trend. The air over us is somewhat stable, but these things have been trucking across Oklahoma all day. They're going to move into Fort Smith here probably in the next hour or so, and we'll get some showers in northwest Arkansas as well, although they won't be as heavy in Bentonville and Rogers as they may be farther to the south out around Fort Smith or Greenwood or even Van Buren. You're looking live out there towards Rogers Avenue. This is looking to the north. Man, we need some rain in the Fort Smith area. Look at the dead grass there right in the middle. Man, we could use a drink. I think we're going to get it too here coming up within the next hour. And the good news is most of this stuff has not been severe. So this is a look at radar right now at coming up on 2:15 on a Sunday. You can see this thing moving east. If you look real close, there's a little bit of a counterclockwise spin right in here. That's the center of the complex. So the strongest storms with these complexes will actually occur on the east-northeast side of the low. That has a lot to do with the Coriolis effect, the low pressure systems. You'll see it with the hurricane landfall coming up too. The most intense part of these storms are east and just northeast of that track. So east of that track is Fort Smith. Northeast of that track runs to about the Hopper Tunnel. That's probably going to be our best area of rainfall. And then when we look forward or look ahead towards that hurricane making landfall tomorrow, that moves across Arkansas. Along and east of that track, we're also going to be looking at least a minimal severe weather risk. Back to the radar, though, let's show you what's going on here. I mentioned the east of the track, so you can see the low spinning counterclockwise out there around Muskogee or so. And so some of the heavier showers and storms are out there towards Sallisaw. None of this is severe, by the way, but some heavy rainfall in Sallisaw out towards Callington. By the way, guys, this is headed towards the greater Fort Smith area. So if you're outdoors, heads up on this thing. You get a good drink in Fort Smith as it moves east. It should weaken with time. This thing's still going, though, and the instability in the atmosphere is enough to where it should start to at least continue a little bit more before it fades. Now, the atmosphere is more stable farther to the north, so watch how this stuff starts to fade, and as it moves to the east and moves into a more stable atmosphere, it starts to fall apart. There's still rain, though, that's out there that's about to move in. So that stuff that's down there southwest to Siloam Springs probably travels out to the northeast, gets into Rogers and Springdale, perhaps even Fayetteville. Those better rain chances this evening, though, are going to hold tight right there around Fort Smith. So hopefully getting some nice rainfall and getting an end to some of this dry weather we've seen. Hey, the next big weather story is this. This right now is Tropical Storm Beryl. It is expected to be a hurricane again as it makes landfall tomorrow. You can see all these hurricane watches, warnings, all in effect here across the Texas coast. I'm going to back out here a little bit. You can see the proximity to where that hurricane tropical storm is compared to what we're seeing. So we have this little boundary that's moving in with a little bitty teeny low right there embedded in the storm. This is a big mama low here, and this thing's spinning counterclockwise. So as it moves on through, that low pressure system moving north is going to draw up quite a bit of moisture into our area here for the early part of the week, which should lead to some widespread rain chances for Monday and Tuesday before we dry out a little bit for Thursday. I'm going to back out a little more here, so I'm going to turn on the radar. It doesn't show all the cloud cover, but it's going to give you a snapshot of what's happening here out around the Gulf. You can see the outer rain bands from this thing are making its way into Texas. And what we'll see in Arkansas, see these outer bands, see how there's breaks. You got one, and then a break, and then another one, and then a break. As the low moves northeast, that's what's going to happen here in our area. We'll get several waves of rainfall. This is what's happening now, though. You can see those scattered showers and storms moving in west to east, and you can also tell that the better chances of rain are going to be across the Fort Smith area with this system. So what is going on right now? Well, our temperatures outside are still relatively cool for this time of year, especially in July. It's 85 in Rogers. It's about 86 degrees in Fayetteville, 84 degrees in Bentonville with some cloud cover. We've had more sunshine today, though, in Fort Smith, so it's 93. What I wanted to show you, though, look at these little puffy clouds down here. These are cumulus congestus, so this is an indication of more instability. You don't really get that here across the northern part of the Ozarks. You do get it from I-40 and south. This is why this area has a better chance of seeing these storms stay alive for another hour or two before they start to dwindle on down. The cloud cover moved in, definitely helped temperatures, and that rain moving into the Fort Smith area is going to help too. Maximum hail size so far has been about 0.4 of an inch. That's not severe criteria. That's less than dime size, probably close to pea size if you're lucky with that thing. So that's a look at the bigger picture view here, and then again, the proximity of that tropical system back down to the south. So what does it look like For the surface chart, well, you can see this is this evening at 7. So that rain is expected to fade as it moves to the east. It's not going to hang on and cruise all the way across the state. It's interacting with some subsidence in the atmosphere. So we should start to see a weakening trend with time. The big weather story is going to be that tropical system this week on Monday and on Tuesday. So it tracks northeastward. It's a tropical depression or tropical storm now. It is expected to become a hurricane, making landfall somewhere Houston, Galveston, in that area, and then pulling northeastward. You can see here from the National Hurricane Center track that it should be by tomorrow morning should be on land, so that moisture will be flooding to the north, and those little arms rotating around that low will start spiraling through central and western Arkansas as well as northwestern Arkansas. So that's going to be our rain chances on Tuesday morning. It's essentially over Texarkana, and then it starts pulling to the east on after that. On the east side of the storm, so Monday afternoon and evening, there could be some strong storms east of the low. Remember, we're looking at the northeast part of the track. The northeast part's where you're going to end up with some isolated tornadoes. I think that looks more towards central Arkansas than northwestern Arkansas, so perhaps closer to Hot Springs or Little Rock. So this brings a lot of rain too, which is good because we need it. Now, these are the rainfall forecast totals from the Weather Prediction Center. These are 120-hour totals, so going out about 3-4 days or so. You can see some of the higher totals will be closer to central Arkansas, but we may get upwards of 3 or 4 inches of rain out of this in Fort Smith, and perhaps 1 to 2 inches of rain out of this in Rogers, Bentonville, and Bella Vista, as well as Springdale and Fayetteville. So some decent rain is out there that's going to start pushing in with this low. If it wobbles either way, to the right or to the left, that'll shift that rainfall track. But I think it's close enough regardless, and just based on the overall Hurricane Center track, that it's close enough to most of us that we're going to get some rain out of it. The northwest side of these tracks, usually there's a really fine cutoff between no rain and heavy rainfall. So let's talk about how this whole thing plays out. First, let's look at tonight, and it's interesting. The data has been kind of wonky here for tonight as far as the models have gone. They haven't handled this very well at all. But you can see in the last couple of runs, we do have those showers and storms. So here's where we're at now, right? Those are going to track east. Watch how these things fade with time. These things press into Arkansas and then eventually just fizzle on out. Now, there could be a spotty shower or two behind it, but it should weaken. Notice the bottom of the screen, though. You can start seeing some of those outer spirals coming off of that hurricane, making its way into Arkansas as early as overnight tonight, and then it will continue to track towards the north. So this is a short-range, high-resolution model. I'm going to take you over to a different model that has a better handle on the tropical system and shows the track of it. So here's where we are coming up on, this is going to be late tonight after midnight, so you can see the tropical system down to the south. So let's jog this through time and show you how this thing plays out. So that makes landfall and then starts to move north. So by the time we head into Monday at about 10 in the morning, it's going to be on land, and some of those outer bands will be working northward. You can see some scattered showers interacting with daytime heating. This is around noon on Monday in Fort Smith. We should get some scattered showers, perhaps up towards St. Paul and out towards looks like Mulberry even and Ozark. As it lifts to the north by evening, this is coming at, well, so this is still afternoon. Right now we're looking at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and some of those outer bands are moving through Bentonville and Rogers. I'll move this back down now that you got a good handle on where this tropical system is. So here's where we are heading into Monday afternoon and evening, and then it really opens up late Monday night into Tuesday. So that's when that heavier push of rain comes in. This is midnight, late Monday into Tuesday. As it moves north-northeast, we get the rain. I think the rainiest time is going to be Tuesday morning as you head to work, which is going to be terrible because no one knows how to drive around here anyway. And you throw some rain out there, and it's just plan on a few delays on Tuesday morning, up and down I-49, I-40, generally anywhere in western or northwestern Arkansas. So that rain continues into the afternoon through the lunch hour, and then we start to see it start to wane by the evening hours coming up on Tuesday. So the biggest time frame for rain with this hurricane is going to be Monday night into Tuesday morning. That's when it's going to be heaviest. You can see it opens up. The interesting thing about these tropical systems, so what's going to happen is it's a tropical storm now. When winds are sustained at 74 miles an hour, then it's a hurricane. Keep in mind, we had winds over 100 in Bentonville from that supercell. So it's kind of amazing to see this hurricane is weaker than the storm that moved through in late May that caused all that tree damage. So what's happening here with that hurricane is it moves on land, it becomes a tropical storm again, and then a tropical depression. It's a warm core system. So it's warm on the top and warm at the bottom. You don't get lightning strikes really in the Gulf from hurricanes. You don't get hail either because it's warm upstairs. You got to have cold air, right? So it changes into a post-tropical cyclone or a subtropical cyclone. And what that means is we do get colder air aloft, and that's an indication that the storm is starting to weaken. When it gets into Arkansas, it will be a subtropical depression or a subtropical storm. And what that means is we're not really dealing with much of a wind risk at all with this. It's mostly a rainmaker, but there may be some lightning and there also may be some hail with some of the stronger storms. And because of the way the friction interacts with the counterclockwise swirl and the Coriolis effect, the eastern side of that low is going to be one to watch for perhaps a little bit of spin ups on the east side of the low for those storms. That would be interacting with daytime heating. So probably second part of the day on Monday. I think that's the time frame to watch. But even still, I don't think it really gets into western Arkansas as much as it does out towards central Arkansas. So that's how this whole system plays out. The severe weather risk for today is not high either. Again, these things are going to weaken. So by the time they get into central and southeast Oklahoma, they'll start falling apart. And the severe weather risk with the stuff that's moving in, again, here's a look at it, making its way right now into Fort Smith from the west. Be a little bit rough and tumble here with some lightning and thunder as it moves through, and perhaps some small hail. That showed 1 inch on radar. But this should weaken with time as it moves eastward, especially as it gets closer to Clarksville and Russellville. This will really start falling apart. And but I think we get a drink out of it. Nice little rain. There was one damage report here in northeast Oklahoma, some trees down. That's the only one that I've seen. And right now, those showers and storms are out there over Muldrow and Roland, tracking in towards Van Buren and Fort Smith. So heads up if you're outdoors, that rain is moving in, and a nice rain too on the way for us here in Bentonville and in Rogers. You can see an outflow boundary right there, that little line making its way in. So that's cooler air. And then the rain is just behind that with some scattered showers. So we'll take any rain we can get as we head into these summer months, which tend to get really, really dry. And then looking ahead, we'll have another chance of those showers with that tropical system. I know that's a lot to digest. So to sum it all up, it's going to rain this evening. And then we have heavy rain Monday night and Tuesday. Beyond that, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday look awesome. Low humidity, below normal temperatures, like 80s. You're going to love life by the time this thing moves on out. And hopefully, all that dead grass starts to get a little bit more lush and a little bit greener. Thanks for joining me on a Sunday afternoon. If we get any stronger storms, I may jump back on here and do a weather update for you. But in the meantime, enjoy some of that rain and cooler temperatures on a Sunday afternoon and evening, and get ready for more rain coming up Monday and Tuesday. Catch you guys next time.